G'day, Tim. Thanks for having me today, and appreciate everyone's time today to listen to the Kingston story. It's a fantastic year for Kingston in terms of our development and progression. So it's a good time to be talking. So in January this year, we became a gold producer. So I'm going to talk you through that and the Mineral Hill project, and also the Misima development project we have in PNG. So if I can just move forward on the slides. Yeah, one more, thanks. That's it. So looking at Misima, just quickly on Misima, and then we'll get into some detail at the back end. But it's a large development project in PNG. It's produced 4 million ounces previously when Placidome owned it. We've currently completed the DFS. So over the last 3 or 4 years, we've progressed from 49% ownership to 100% ownership. 2.4 million ounces of production target, 130,000 ounces per annum. It's a big gold project, great NPV, and provides a lot of optionality to shareholders with Kingston at the moment, particularly around the share price. It's a big open pit, 6 million tonne processing plant. You can see the numbers there of 6 billion of revenue and all-in sustaining numbers. So very economic and a large project for us. So our current reserves for Misima is 1.7 million ounces of recovered ounces. So it's a big project. We're currently running a process to try and find a development partner for that, and we'll talk about that shortly. And then in Mineral Hill, we own 100% of that asset. We purchased that project off a private family who are now one of our largest shareholders. That project basically started our production strategy about building a gold company, and Mineral Hill's our first sort of mine in our portfolio. Currently processing from tailings, which will take about another 18 months. And then we're also in the process of developing a 5-year mine plan, which will take us towards 2029, 2030 in terms of mine life. Recently announced a $10 million debt facility, which is another big tick for the project and the strategy, because there was a lot of DD done on that independent due diligence by the debt providers, and they're very excited about what they've seen at Mineral Hill. It's all about the infrastructure and approvals at Mineral Hill, which we'll go through shortly. If I can just move forward on the slides, please. So a quick one on the market cap. I'll let you guys come back to this. Obviously, 37 million market cap at the moment, pretty low enterprise of around $30 million Aussie dollars. When you consider we've got the best part of 2 million ounces of reserves and best part of 4 million ounces of resources. So in terms of any multiple, we're pretty cheap at the moment. Very experienced board and management, a lot of mining experience there. Mick Wilkes has built 4 mines. I'm a mining engineer, has operated mines. And Tony Weavy was also chairman of Aurelia when they built Hera. So we've got a lot of experience there, and very strong support with 5, 6 big shareholders there. You can see there, all family offices, high net worth individuals. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So Mineral Hill, what did we buy back in January? We paid $23 million for this project, and that's how Quintana got their 13% shareholding in Kingston. We've got an approved MLs, we've got a large exploration portfolio. Current reserves are modest, about 70,000 ounces, but that's going to grow as we work on the mine plan we're currently doing. 500,000 ounces, just under gold equivalent in resources. We expect it to be basically 2 small open pits and a couple of underground projects. Now, the beauty of our underground projects is that both of them currently have declines and portals in place, so we're able to leverage off what was done in the past. Very well located in the Cobar Basin down in the south there. You can see the tenement package, residential workforce, and we run off mains, good access to water, so it's quite a very well set up operation for us. Next slide, please. So the strategy right now with Mineral Hill is get that 5-year plan in place and get it in by Christmas. And most of that will hopefully be in reserves and will be some production target, but that will demonstrate the mine life that we think we've got at Mineral Hill, and then start to look at further step out exploration. The first 2 pits will be Pierce North and South, and then we'll go underground at the SOS. We're currently doing some studies on refurbishing parts of the plant which have been on care and maintenance since 2016. And like I said, all the approvals are in place, and we completed that debt funding to help with those refurbishments. Next slide, please. So what does it look like production-wise? Tailings production till out to 2023, so the end of 23 to early 24. Then we've got 2 open pits, which will run for about a year. They're quite small, but very high grade. So not only will that add mine life, it's going to lift our production base from where it is today at about 15,000 ounces a year, and hopefully more than double it. SOZ underground, high grade, polymetallic, both copper, gold, lead, zinc. So we will be producing copper in the next 2.5, 3 years from the SOZ underground. And then we've got the Jacks Hut and Parkers Hill targets, which will extend it well past the 5-year mine life. Next slide, please. So current production is about 1,200 ounces a month coming from tailings. We lifted production last quarter about 32%. We are expecting a significant increase on the previous quarter during this quarter. In fact, we're very happy with how July and August are tracking, both in terms of production and costs. So that's really good for shareholders to be looking forward to the current quarterly production. We're running at about 700,000 tonnes per annum. For a very small plant, that's a great run rate. We're very comfortable at that run rate, and it demonstrates the ability of our own internal growth opportunities at Mineral Hill. The nameplate of the original plant was 350,000 tonnes, and we've already got the back end running at 700,000 tonnes. So there's a lot of upside there. Next slide, please. If you can just click through this one, just let it all run through, that's great. So you can see here, this is a very tight footprint. I've got basically 8 targets to show you there. You can see the PS open pits, they're high-grade gold and silver. They're very close to the processing plant. Basically, everything is within 1 kilometre of the processing plant. They're already in resources. We're doing the reserves for that. The next one to come cab off the rank will be the Southern Ore Zone, which is an underground, which I said earlier has got decline on the portal. That's number 8 there. You can see some really nice high-grade intercepts, quite wide as well. Now, the important thing here is all of these holes are historic and all of them are still in place. They have not been mined. So all of these targets are for us to continue to develop, get them into resources, get them into reserves, and get them in the mine plan. Next slide, please. Southern Ore, Pierce South, what does it look like? You can see there 39 metres at 4 grams gold and 37 silver, so quite high grade. We do expect to obviously have good low cost base here and good margins on this dirt because it's high grade dirt. So we're really looking forward to finishing the tailings and getting the open pits going. This historical reserve was done at US 1,300, so we're going to upgrade that this quarter. Next slide, please. Southern Ore Zone. So what's important to take away from this side here is that underground development you can see there is in place. We have access to that portal. We can drive underground along the existing development to the Southern Ore Zone. The Southern Ore Zone is currently just under 2 million tonnes of resources, and we're working on what that reserve is going to look like at the moment. You can see those drill holes there. We announced those in the last few weeks. Very high grade copper, lead, zinc, polymetallic ore bodies, so very similar to Hera, not dissimilar to what Federation is going to look like. So it's what investors understand to be in the Cobar region, very typical for what people should be looking for. Next slide, please. Jacks Hut, this is one of our next opportunities. We announced these drill holes last week. This is copper gold dominant, so no lead zinc in this, which is quite exciting. This is one of my favourite targets for a Mineral Hill. I'm looking to try and develop an open pit and underground strategy here. Look, it's going to take a little bit of time because we need to drill it and work through historical drilling, but you can see there, 27 metres at 1, 77 metres, just under 1% copper with some high grade structures within that. So there's potential that this could continue underground, but this was a historical underground that produced as well. Next slide, please. In terms of regional exploration, so on top of the 8 targets that we've talked about within our mining licence, of which most of them are in resources, we have another 10 regional targets which are in the southern section of our exploration licence, and they are mostly surround the mining licence, and we're now starting to work up targets within our EL, that 8334 to the northwest there of our mining licences. So we've got plenty of targets and plenty of excitement for exploration over the next few years. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to move through Misima and show you basically a bit about that and where we're going with that project and with the inflation that the whole market's experiencing in terms of capital, we've made the decision that we need a joint venture partner. So we are running that process at the moment. Whereas Misima, it's an island, 600 k's there, east of Port Moresby. Very long gold mining history. There's 20,000 landowners that live on the island. All of them are either producing gold today themselves or involved in mining with FIFO. So very supportive landowners, and it's a great place to be in PNG in terms of access, logistics, and support by the landowners and the government, local government. So we're quite excited about where this project's going and what this can do for shareholders. But we acknowledge that for Kingston at our 40 million market cap, we're going to need a partner to help us get it there. Next slide, please. So just the results of the DFS, which we published in the last few months, 3.8 million ounce resource, 1.73 million ounce reserve. It's a large scale open pit. There's a big chunk of silver in it. So we've also produced about 4 million ounces of silver over the mine life. So total production is at 2.4 million ounces of gold, about 130,000 ounces a year for 20 years. So we've already got a 20-year mine life. The current resource is just goes to the base of drilling, and we do expect it to keep growing once we keep drilling. So it's going to have a longer mine life than 20 years, we think. Very attractive economics in terms of NPV and IRR. It's a big project, and we're really looking forward to finding the right partner to help us unlock this value for shareholders. Next slide, please. So what does Misima look like? You can see here, this is an open pit diagram. That open pit you can see there called Yamuna. That's the main ore body. 95–96% of the ounces come out of Yamuna. It's about 3 kilometres long. It's a big open pit. It gets to about 400 metres in depth. But basically, we will be in there mining that for 20 years. There's a couple of satellite pits there at Ewatnona and Coolamaya, but majority of the time is spent in Yamuna. So very simple project. We're reutilising the old processing plant location, single haul road. You can see the diagram there that demonstrates what the gold plant looks like. It's pretty bog standard CIL circuit, which operated for 15 years previously, and it will operate very successfully before. Misima's historically sat very low on the cost curve because it's very soft rock. So it's a great project, and like I said, it provides shareholders with great optionality here over the gold price. Next slide, please. So in terms of last one on Misima, in terms of approvals, we are working on them now, and we will submit those either this quarter or next quarter based on our strategic review process we're running at the moment. And next slide, please. So in just wrapping up, we've got an experienced management team. We are focused on gold and copper. It is our experience. That's where we normally traditionally operated in as a board and management. We are looking forward to developing the Mineral Hill mine life, bringing these resources into reserves and showing investors what Mineral Hill can do. Very focused on growing from Mineral Hill with the mine plan, unlocking this hidden value with Misima, and we do think it's hidden value in our share price. So at 40 million, you're sort of either getting Mineral Hill for free or Misima for free at the moment. So we get this strategic review underway, get it completed, and work out a way forward there for Misima. And thank you everyone for your time today.
Thanks, Andrew. Really interesting. That Misima looks very exciting. What sort of JV partner? What do they look like? Any names you can mention? Or?
No, I can't mention any names, but I can say what I guess technically we would be looking for is someone that obviously has a balance sheet, so a financial partner, but also an operational partner, because Misima's 6 million tonnes worth of mining throughput, so it's a big open pit. We're a small company, so we really do want that partner to not only bring a balance sheet, but also operating experience, ideally operating experience in PNG or in similar environments.
And you've been fortunate enough to secure some funding. There's some milestones. Obviously, this funding is just in relation to Mineral Hill. What sort of milestones are expected before you can achieve the next 5 million?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's about proving the mine life, getting those reserves and resources in place to show the debt provider that we've got that mine life. We're targeting this 5-year mine life. The debt facility is 4-year money, so that gives you a sort of good feel of what they're looking for. They want to see us demonstrate that 4 to 5 year mine life. And we're very confident we can do it. We've already got 18 months right now in the tailings. We've got another year already in the open pits, and the underground's just going to keep building out on top of that. So the 4 to 5 years is we think, very comfortable.
And is it fair to say you haven't drilled at any great depth yet? Is that the further opportunity there?
Oh, absolutely. Mineral Hill has last major drill program was in the 90s. We've done a very small drill program already, about 8,000 metres, and that was just confirmation and a bit of resource work that we wanted to get done. There is a huge untapped exploration excitement at Mineral Hill. Majority of the ore bodies are open. There are a number of drill intersections, historical drill intersections that are very economic, that have never been followed up. So we've got all that to come.
And Andrew, there's several more questions coming through. I might get you to answer online if you don't mind. But one of them is what do you think the market's kind of undervaluing in regards to Kingston at the moment? Yeah,
I think the market's is concerned about how we go with Misima and the direction with Misima. Obviously, at 460, 470 million in capital, the market doesn't want to see Kingston raise that money at this point, and we understand that. So I think that's part of the concern we have. And also, it's still very early days at Mineral Hill. We need to demonstrate what the production is this quarter. We need to keep demonstrating where this mine life's going. And that's all going to play out over the next 2 quarters for Mineral Hill. So we're pretty confident of unlocking the value and demonstrating to the market what the potential is of both Mineral Hill and Misima.
Great, Andrew. That's all we have time for. I'd appreciate it if you could answer some of those questions now. If not, I'll shoot them to you over the weekend. But thanks for your time.
No worries. Thank you.